I think the first one was just deciding what to do after school. There are so many options these days, and I was torn about what to do next. I think deciding to go and study languages at Cambridge was a really good choice for me in the end, because although it's challenging, it was really, really rewarding. The only thing is there's not a set career path for a language student other than being a translator or interpreter. So I think this really helped in keeping an open mind when applying for jobs after graduation.
Upon departure from a previous job role, I was asked to join a local gas and heating firm covering the office management and administrations, something that I had great knowledge of and background in. It was actually within this role that I discovered I had a passion for engineering and mechanics and general gas and plumbing maintenance. My boss encouraged me and actually funded for myself to go to college and work alongside some incredibly inspiring individuals in a male-dominated industry. It was within this industry that I had never felt more accomplished as a human being, and especially as a female. It is a kind of industry that it is dominated by males. There's very little females that work in the engineering sector, and not once was I made to feel like I didn't belong. The males I worked alongside took me under their wing, and they showed me everything that they could and actually encouraged me and pushed me to do the best that I could. It is a role that I quite excelled in and really enjoyed learning, and it probably did shape me into the type of person I am today.
I think one of the most significant barriers that women face in general is women's health. I think it's not talked about enough in society, let alone in the workplace. I think there's still a lot of stigma attached to words like menstruation, menopause, and when you hear someone talking about that in the workplace, I think people tend to shy away from the topic. So when you actually think about it, 50% of the population are women and probably suffer from some of the symptoms or go through this every month. It's not something I feel like we need to stay away from, and I think we should feel comfortable having open conversations about this with our colleagues and our loved ones. So I think if you work with a woman, I think you should be empathetic or considerate of this, and just be mindful and kind when you're dealing with people. I think the main thing I try to do is educate people. I think with Gen Zers like myself, where we've grown up in a society that is more open-minded and feel confident in having discussions that in the past might have felt a bit awkward for people, like talking about gender equality and other things to do with inclusion, I feel like I'm quite well placed to challenge anything I might hear or disagree with in a way that's always respectful and is kind of aimed at trying to get people to see another perspective rather than just telling them, oh, you can't say that, but just trying to promote a greater awareness around things like gender equality.
It is apparent that inequalities still affect women in our society today, whether that is professionally in the workplace or out with the workplace in the general society. For me, I continue to try and challenge this by doing tasks that I would suggest and historically would suggest are manly. For example, doing DIY. Anything that requires a screwdriver and a drill, it's myself that does it. I don't rely on anyone else to do tasks that I am responsible for, whether that's a male or a female. I would also still do the cooking and cleaning around our household. Again, something that I think would be considered historically a female task. But these are tasks that also my boyfriend would do. It's not something that, we would classify as a male task or a female task in our household. We class them as tasks that we need to get done to ensure our household continues to function. And that's the way it should be in our society. It shouldn't be a female and a male role or female and male task. We should be working together to ensure that the function continues to run the way it should.
I think every woman I've ever met, to be honest, I think the reason we fight for gender equality is for every girl that's ever been told that they can't do something or they can't be something or something's not for them because of their gender.
For me, it's very hard to name an individual who pushes me for progress. And that isn't because there isn't many individuals who push for progress. it is because the future generation pushes me for progress. I want to know that my nephew, who is only 5 years old at the moment, can choose a career path that he wants to do without it being stigmatised or stereotyped. I want to live in a world where my son and daughter can be paid the exact same amount of money for the exact same job and not be discriminated against because of their gender. I want to see women in male-dominated career paths without being judged and, whilst they're at it, excel in that job. That is what inspires me. That is what pushes me every day to continue in this fight.
I think it would be just aim to be kind, empathetic, and aware of other people's lived experiences. Just because something doesn't impact you directly doesn't mean it doesn't impact the people you love, the people you work with, your friends and family.